sex appeal. I tell all of my students, you never want to lose your sex appeal as a female, because men, they're not just coming to watch you wrestle, they're coming to watch you. And I felt that same way as a professional wrestler myself, because, even though being a man, I wore some of the shortest tights. I made sure, the baby oil was on thick. I made sure I hit the rubber band, because there again, a lot of female fans may thought that, man, they might get a date with Booker T. Booker T might ask about. So it's a whole lot going on as far as trying to create a fan base. And it's not just about the wrestling.
Right. And I think that where you were saying that I kind of wanted to expound upon in the last show, which I also thought that you made a clear point on. But look, Roman Reigns objectively is a handsome guy, right? It's a good looking cat.
Oh, yeah.
Women, though, are very, very big on Roman Reigns. I remember it was a few months ago. We had some family friends of my wife's in town, and SmackDown just happened to be on. It came on while the TV was on, and Roman was starting the segment out. And Roman is in the ring, and there's a whole conversation happening in the kitchen, and one of the girls looks up and goes, "Who's that?" And then I'm like, "Oh, that's Roman Reigns." And she goes, "Who?" She's like, "What's his?" This was the next word that came out of her mouth. "What's his Instagram?"
That is, you know what I mean? Roman makes sure, he's got the perfect teeth, you know what I mean? The body's right. The hair is flowing. Yeah, Roman got a lot of sex appeal going on, and that's something that I don't think that should ever be overlooked as far as wrestling goes.
Let me just say, too, when he took the chest protector off, stock went up in the women's eyes.
Oh, man, look, man. Look,
and some of the men out there, I'm not discriminating, some of the men,
Aquaman,
Yes.
Come on. You think women watch the movie because they want to see the fish man? That's just...
Well, I saw Aquaman. That movie sucks.
Well, it sucked.
They made $1 billion.
But the brother look good, right? He's jacked. He chills a lot of granite.
He looks awesome.
So my thing is, the movie wouldn't have been a success if you would have had a certain guy playing that same role.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And to think that professional wrestling, I guess this is what was irritating. Professional wrestling is no different than any other visual medium, right?
Yeah.
And especially acting in movies and television, there's a reason why someone goes, "Oh, that looks like a movie star," because they're like, "Man, they look good. They look great.
They look real
Teeth,
good.
hair, tan, dress, everything got it going on, right?
Yeah.
Male or female."
Yeah.
And I don't know why we're saying that professional wrestling should be any different. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a, Barbie looking, look like a Barbie doll out there by any stretch of the imagination. But to say that wrestling's not visually appealing, or wrestlers shouldn't be visually appealing in some form or fashion, right? I think it's crazy. Even off a sex appeal thing, but Taker or Kane or Mankind, they all looked a certain way to invoke a certain emotion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's all that you're saying at the end of the day, is you're trying to look a certain way to invoke a certain emotion. I see how people are trying to spin it, but that's all that is. That's spin. Spin's not real.
People that try to spin it, they've never been in the business before. They've never made money in this business. They've probably never been in any form of show business, entertainment. So I don't put a whole lot of stock and a lot of weight into what people say, when I do make a comment like that. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And if a young, person that's getting into this business, if they don't know what I'm talking about, maybe they should come and talk to me, and then I'll tell them exactly what I mean, because it's all about trying to get to the next level in this business. It's not just, let me tell you, let me just get this straight. It's not just about wrestling in this wrestling business. Okay. Wrestling is a part of it. But becoming a star, I've known a boatload of great wrestlers, guys that could wrap circles around me from a wrestling perspective. But that's not what this thing is really all about. It's about entertaining the fans, making the fans feel a certain way, taking them on a journey that they're going to remember for the rest of their life, creating memories for those fans for the rest of their lives. It's got so much more to do with than just getting in the ring and wrestling. And if you think that way, you're going to be bruised, beat up, battered and torn by the time your career is over with, and you're going to have no money.
Zero. Yeah.
Facts. Bottom line.
It's just how it is, man. I mean, like, and you're right. Wrestling is so much more than just what goes on in the ring. And I think people who became fans, you didn't become fan because of a guy who's just a great technical wrestler. You grew to appreciate those people as you became more of a fan. But everybody's fandom came from the same thing. Like, you saw Hogan cutting a promo, or you saw Austin kicking McMahon's ass all over the place in a beer truck, or the grocery store fight. Right? That's why you became a fan, and that's just so much more than wrestling, than a wrist lock and a headlock.
You know, I mean, the wrestling can only take the business only so far, you know, and the entertainment part of this business is what really fuels it. The storylines, I really think, is what really fuels. I would say WWE. I can't speak for other wrestling companies or anything like that, but WWE, it's always been about the drama. How many times have we seen a wedding at one of the pay-per-views?
And it all goes to hell.
How many times have the wedding gone to hell? I mean, come on.
Every time.
How many times have we seen a contract signing? You know, and 9 times out of 10, the contract signing. That's part of professional wrestling. So it's not just about wrestling, and people that think that, just let them think what they want. But I think they're totally off base as far as what this thing's about.
Well, and to go back to kind of the conversation of last time was, and no one is saying that anyone is disregarding the female athletes, or the male for that matter, of their in-ring acumen. You know, we still want to see the wrestling match. Like, we want to see the match, but the match isn't the only thing that we're watching the show for, right? And like the best example, because I think she's the GOAT when it comes to female wrestling, is Trish Stratus, and she has a visual appeal, an obvious one that's always been, well known. But when she gets in the ring, you find yourself getting behind her or being against her, depending on what kind of side of the coin she's playing, because she can go out there and work. But there's more to Trish Stratus than just her in-ring abilities, and there's more to Trish Stratus than just her, physical attraction. It's the whole package that we're talking about.
Well, I mean, naming one female that has made it to the top level that didn't have sex appeal. Just naming one. Can you?
I'm really thinking.
No, I'm serious. I mean,
I'm really thinking.
I'm being serious. You're not going to be able to think of one, because it's just like I know. This is another tangent. We got to take a quick break. Let's take this break, and we'll come back, and I'll make my point. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.